Chapter 100. Life is hard. Or maybe it isn't. I'm not sure. I'm just a robot. An android, an automata after all. I'm just some wires and metal. My creators used to use the word life and death a lot, so I'm saying. They used to say, life is hard, get over it. When someone died of old age, they shredded tears. It was sad seeing my master's tears fall like that, however. I'm not sure what they felt at that moment. I could see, even though they were supposedly shredding tears of sadness after losing a person close to them, I could see fear. There was a sense of fear within their eyes. Indeed, they were scared of dying. However, even though I can feel emotions, I never experienced the fear of the so-called death. I am, in a sense, immortal after all. As an automata, living for thousands of years isn't a problem as long as I can recharge myself. For that reason, I've lived a long life. Witnessed the death of my creators and their descendants thousands of years later. At some point, I even witnessed my creators leaving for another planet, a place where they would live happier, leaving us unfortunate androids behind. I can't explain in words how much anger I felt at that time. One day, in spite of anger, I'm not sure how many 100 years ago, or maybe it was 1,000 years ago, I had stopped fighting for this land, stopped fighting for my comrades, my fellow automata, though my comrades still kept fighting for the land, fighting against those creatures who were once below us, only because of one possibility, the possibility that one day, maybe, just maybe, one day, our creators would return. How pitiful they were. If I talk about myself, I do not want to work for someone who left my people to die, alone in this dead silent land. I'm Short Motor, the leader of a small faction, the Motor Gang. I won't subdue myself to anyone. Not to the creatures from other celestial bodies, nor to my so-called creators. They are already dead. The ones who left us are just foolish descendants of our so wise leader. I would never bow my head to anyone. Well, thinking of such cool lines, I had fallen asleep. There were no ways to recharge me back then. This happened a long time ago, though I'm not sure how long, anyway. Today, I have regained my consciousness. It seems a person with wings on his back had recharged me. He has recharged us. Wings. While I was standing among thousands of automata comrades, opposite the two humanoid creatures, I was suddenly facing thousands of questions. I can see a girl beside him as well, though I'm not sure of her race because she was wearing a suit. But from her skin tone, she's also a winged human. Hello everyone. My name's Amon. You would rather recognize me as someone from the Chandrian race. The man spoke lightly. Chandorian, though with his wings, I would assume one of his parents is a Birkin as well. I was suddenly facing a question that stood out from the thousands of questions lingering in my mind. Is that you, my creator? Was it anger or was it hope? I did not know. I knew one thing though. It was something coming from the bottom of my heart, even though I do not have one. I knew I have to punch that bastard right in the face. At least, once. Who knew that was enough for me to accept him as my leader 2 years ago? 2 years later, General POV ZZZ, the young man with black hair and blood-red eyes, stared ahead of him. This was Moon 1 section, a place where creatures who were the hybrid of humans and electrical eel lived. Asterisk, yo, do you recognize me? Asterisk, he spoke in a strange language towards the bulky man in front of him, who gulped in response. On the Earth's 7 moons, there were advanced civilizations residing on each of them. The most advanced civilization among all of the 7 celestial bodies is Moon 1. There was an important reason for that. It's because of the inhabitants here. It is populated by electrical eel mutants, alien electric eel mutants. The creatures of these moons are very similar to fishmen, like how fishmen have mutants among themselves. As to how a shark type is naturally more formidable than most others, these creatures are the same. Based on their mutant counterparts, they possess powers. As to how there were fishmen who could become invisible, there are aliens who can do bizarre things like that. Though the strongest are the ones who can control fire, air, ice, water, and finally, electricity. It's a literal avatar world here. Except there are no earthbenders. The people with electrical powers are most powerful here in this part of the galaxy, since it is the most useful power in an advanced civilization, where everything works on electricity, and also the place which is lacking resources. This bunch of people who have electrical powers and are supposedly the strongest resides in Moon 1, the paradise of technology. Except for Moon 1, each moon has people living in them, and only the royalties of each moon have elemental power, along with their own version of history. On the other hand, from Moon 2 to Moon 1, all of them are in a war for resources, though there are exceptions. All the moons, except Moon 1, are places where all kinds of aliens live. The elemental royalties are the only people that differ each moon from the other, as even their technologies are the same. So fighting for resources was inevitable. The Moon 2 is the paradise of criminals and pirates. This is where all kinds of aliens live. There is no official ruler ruling this area. The Moon 3 is ruled by an alien race who can use air, wind type abilities. Moon 4 is ruled by an alien race who can use water type abilities. Moon 5 is ruled by an alien race who can use ice type abilities. They have a good relationship with Moon 4 because of similarities in element. Moon 6 is ruled by an alien race who can use fire type abilities. They have a bad relationship with all the other moons, except Moon 3, Moon 1, the bane of every other moon, and elemental royalties. They are hated by all, but none can oppose them. They are that powerful. Because the ones who rule this planet are the ones with thunder powers. The rulers are an electrical eel-type alien. Since their powers can charge their advanced weapons, they are most formidable in this area, with less recourse. There were exceptions. Some people who aren't royalties can also use elemental powers. They are given a high position on each moon. Moon 1 is the planet where the black-haired man was standing right now. The reason was Moon 1's rulership. Just a few days ago, he was declared the leader, the ruler of Moon 1. The Moon 1 was a place where everyone had their eyes, even though the resources there have almost died out. If they can get their hands on the legacy of Moon 1 previous inhabitants, then they would be unmatchable. If that happens, they would even be able to go out of this galaxy circle. For that though, it was hard to get for any of them. Annoyingly, in this time of hardships, the appearance of a man claiming to be the descendant of the previous rulers of Moon 1 definitely irked them. They tried to fight him, kill him. After that, the rest is just rumors. After all, how can a single person beat 1 million soldiers, even some of them being able to use elemental powers? Only the leaders of each moon knew the truth. The man in front was a monster. For that reason, the bulky man in front of the red-eyed teenager was shaking. Asterisk, Cerno, L-Lord, why have you come here? You could have told me, I would have gone to pick you up myself. Asterisk, the bulky man spoke. He looked quite disgusting by human standards, but he was seen as a 1 in a million handsome to all the moon people. He was the ruler of Moon 1 section, Kratos, HN. In front of Kratos was a tall man, standing at 2.2 meters. He had long black hair and blood-red eyes. Currently, He was wearing a grin on his face, while his eyes were seemingly shining. Asterisk, help me. No, you should help yourself. Your superior is here. Asterisk, his voice was smooth enough for the bulky man to think he didn't pose any threat, but it bore such heavy weight in them that Kratos almost peed himself. As Amon raised his hands, the man made shocked face. Asterisk, El Lord. Asterisk, the bloody-eyed teenager. Amon laughed. Ha ha ha, Kek. Kratos made a scared face as he took a step back, but he calmed himself down. He decided to take the hard route. He shouted, Asterisk, everyone, kill this man. It doesn't matter how strong he is, he can't take all of us at once. Asterisk, alas, he was a foolish man. Amon kept grinning, as his lips almost stretched up to his ears. Sayonara, 300 million volts. Thunder, Emperor. ZZZZ. A large bicycle made of electricity was created in the air as it started to roll over everyone. 2 years later, Earth, the year 1519, December. King Cobra was inside Vivi's room. They were debating something intensely. He wiped the sweat on his forehead. Vivi, my baby, listen. It's impossible to cancel it like this. Vivi frowned, hearing him. Why? He is just a warlord. You can't go against him, even being the king of Alabaster. She pointed outside through the window. Look, our kingdom is so ahead of every other. It was declared top 10 kingdom of the world in the latest reverie, she said. Their kingdom leached ours and is standing where they are currently. Saying this, Vivi went silent. She took a deep breath. Staring ahead, she said it in a low voice. Father, I was a child back then. That's why I accepted to be married to him. I didn't even know what marriage was back then. You want your daughter to marry a man who she hasn't met for 4 years. Vivi had decided. Listen, I won't marry him at all. If you force me, I will run away. In silence, Cobra rubbed his temple. Sigh, fine. He shook his head. If she really wanted things to go on like this, then so be it. But first, a few days later, the 400th year of Shandians in the sky will be celebrated. It will be a huge ceremony. I got the news that the upper yard would be open to the public for the first time. Many would go there because of the Golden City rumor. We were invited as royal guests there as well. At least go there with me, all right. Skypea was a kingdom standing on par with Alabaster, which was now one of the top 10 most developed countries. So Cobra didn't want Vivi to cancel this marriage. It might cause a huge mess. Crocodile died a few years ago, though his death didn't change the world much, Cobra thought. He continued his line of thought. But Alabaster took a huge blow. So the help of Lucifer is important. The help of Wingless Valkyrie is essential. Things will look bad if the alliance of Skypea and Alabaster were to be cut off. Cobra was at a tight spot. He felt sweat dripping down his back. He thought things might take a turn for better if Vivi changed her mind after visiting the heavenly sky. Vivi took a few seconds as she started to think with a small frown. Fine. That man did say he will return 4 years later. Although he did leave in February, and this is January. So still a month before his return. I guess I will enjoy the sky in the meantime. Cobra was a little surprised seeing how she remembered things in such details. But he just shook his head. This is good. She might like the sky and change her mind. Nodding his head, he quickly left to ask people to prepare things. Meanwhile, Vivi had an annoyed face. She can't even recall his face properly, and her father to her to marry that man. The only thing she could recall was that he constantly appeared behind her when she was cleaning the bathroom. Disgusting pervert bastard. Saying this in her mind, she jumped in her soft bed, hugging her pillow to sleep. Same time, Skypea. Wiper looked towards the chief in front of him. Chieftain, is it a good idea? The chief is the one who decided to allow people to enter at the 400th year ceremony. Ha ha ha, Wiper, you worry too much. People won't attack the kingdom most associated with little Amon's wingless Valkyrie. We are popular and powerful. We have Alabaster helping us. He laughed lightly while sipping some juice. Wiper wasn't convinced yet. But Amon isn't here. Is it good to celebrate without him? Meh. The chief placed the glass of juice down. It doesn't matter, he is busy anyways. I bet he won't be unhappy with this, haha. He looked at the frowning Wiper. Besides, we are strong, aren't we? Wiper stayed silent. He wasn't worried much, he has grown very strong recently. Being scared of pirates wasn't something his pride would allow him to do. Fine, things will be fine. Wiper gripped his spear strongly. I would massacre anyone who would try to alter that fact. He chuckled lightly and walked away to train some more. But will this much training be enough for the things that he would face? Same time, Maria Joa. Father, I want to go there. I will. You can't stop your son like this, father. A world noble was crying to his father. He had a wish he wanted to be granted. Please, father, you have to let me go there. The man in front of him, his father, an old man in his 90s, seemed to hesitate. Son, you can't do that. The old man said lightly. You know, I'm a survivor of the God Valley incident. Among the few world noble who went there to sightsee, I was the lucky one to be able to witness the incident with my own eyes. If not for the marine hero Garp, I wouldn't have survived. The man corrected himself, while he recalled that incredible fight between Garp, Roger versus Zebek. The place you want to go, the Skypiean. It might be similarly dangerous. Many pirates will go there because of the Golden City rumor. Wow, Dad, you know a lot. He as expected of my dad. The man just chuckled. Experience changes a person. Cough anyway. Go there some other time. This is the first time it will be opened. So many dangerous people will go there. You can't go there. It's dangerous, the son yelled loudly. No, then call Garp the marine hero here. Ask him to be my guard. The old man went silent. He scratched his cheeks. That's not a bad idea. But I don't think he will come, he sighed. Are you really that eager? He asked, as the fat son nodded. Fine, then I will ask an admiral to accompany you. He chuckled lightly. His old body shook. I will do anything for my cute son. The fat man with a snort dropping from his nose jumped in ecstasy. Hee, I heard angels live there. I will make them my slaves. Hee, how unfortunate. But is it unfortunate for Amon, or is it unfortunate for the man? Only time shall tell.